Hello and welcome to Kingdom News. I am your host, Gwen Goolsby Tillery. I'm so glad to be back for another week to give you the latest on what's going on in the kingdom. So as usual, we're going to kick off the show with what's going on in the gospel world, with entertainment, with what's going on with the gospel artists and those kinds of things. So the first thing I want to announce for today is that Jonathan McReynolds, yes, that's Jonathan McReynolds and Molly Music just have co-released a new EP. And of course, with the two of them, it has this fresh, eclectic sound that, it's just such a great sound. So I want you to go and check out that new EP. It can be found on Google Music, iTunes, all those platforms where you find the latest music. Go check that out. And if you want to see them in person, they're going to be starting their tour, which will be kicking off September 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. And that will take place at the Tabernacle. That's the Tabernacle, September 30th in Atlanta, Georgia. Go check that out. And in other news, new releases, I don't know if you've heard of this gospel artist, but I have had the pleasure of knowing him and working with him for many years. And when I tell you, he just has this amazing ability to bring worship no matter where he goes. He can connect with a mature crowd, a young crowd, a mixed crowd, because he just has this real pure and authentic worship. And his name is Anton Milton. So Anton Milton and Glorified has just come out with a new single. This new single is entitled Count on You. That's it, Count on You. And that can be found on all the different musical platforms as well that I just mentioned. Anton Milton will also be in a concert with Molly Music and Jabari Johnson coming up in November. That's November 20th. They will be in Baltimore, Maryland at La Familia Arts and Media. So if you want more information about how to catch either this concert or the tour that's going to be happening with Jonathan McReynolds and Molly Music, go to the websites for the places that I have just announced, and you will be able to get more details about that, or I'm sure you can go and check it out on their website. Hello and welcome to Kingdom News. We are to our Kingdom Spotlight section of the show, and I'm so excited to bring to you this week's guest for the Kingdom Spotlight. Her name is Jasmine Poole, and she is an amazing young lady. So welcome to the show, Jasmine.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. So I'm so excited to have you on, for you to be able to share some of the stuff that you're doing in the community, as well as the information for the book that you just released. So start off by just telling the people just a little bit about yourself.
So, a little bit about me. I am from a town called Pemberton Township. I am the middle child, and I love working with the youth in my community. I'm really well known in my neighborhood and my community for giving back. But the ways that I give back, they're not necessarily the ways that a lot of people would think. Um, it's not the traditional route. I don't believe in recreating the wheel. So I do a lot of work in the community and I partner with a lot of great people and we get a lot of great work done. So part of that is helping youth, and that's really the foundation of it all.
That sounds good. So tell me, you're young. What made, and you've been doing this for a while already. How long have you been involved with this kind of stuff?
I've been doing community service work in leadership for 10 years now. So,
Wow.
yeah, so
That's
10
a long
years.
time.
Yes,
And she's young,
yes,
as I said. She's very young. We won't tell your age, but she's very young. So you started out at a very young age. What
yes.
made you have a desire to want to even be able to give back?
Well, it all began with the work that I noticed wasn't happening in my neighborhood. As a kid, I would look around and I would see like no rec centers and nowhere for youth to really go to, and an outlet for us. So that's when the seed, excuse me, the seed was planted for me to want to work with kids and the community and stuff like that. So when I realized as a youth that there wasn't a lot for us and there was a lot of need in the community, that's what really like motivated me.
Okay. So what did you start doing? How did you, I mean, so like I said, you were really young, how did you know what to do? What did you start doing?
Well, I started just excuse me, with a small basketball team um, for the youth in the neighborhood, and it was just an excuse me, an outlet for them to, get out of their houses, get off technology, and just come outside and play. And that just evolved into, from 4 kids to more like, 70 kids almost. And I was I was a kid myself, so it grew and the community realized like there was something there, and they just started investing in it. And I'm blessed to be able to now have a boys and a girls basketball program from that. And it just started with just a small little basketball team, and then it just more things happened, and you know things went from there. But I started a nonprofit organization in 2018. Um, that's when the nonprofit actually started. It was established.
Okay, so you said something which I just kind of want to reiterate that. You said you started small with only 4 kids.
Yes,
And that's so important because a lot of times people, I feel like they want to give back and they have the heart to give back, but
yes,
they're always thinking in terms of big numbers, big numbers.
yes.
And so when they think about the big numbers, it scares them or it stops them. But I believe if you're faithful with the little and you just really go
Little,
out there, yes, and do what it is that God is directing you to do, He will put, his his anointing on it, his stamp of approval, and you'll go from 4 to 70, and then you start your own nonprofit organization still at a very young age. So what is the nonprofit organization's name?
JP Elite, and it's
JP Elite.
yes,
So now those are your initials,
yes,
JP, Jasmine Poole.
yes.
Uh, and what did the Elite come in at?
The elite came in at when I wanted something about elite stood out to me mainly because um, I wanted to stand out from other people, different organizations. There's a lot of organizations out there, but I wanted this one to be known for being set apart, being held to a higher standard. And we don't just provide services to the community. We provide the best services, the most quality, that you can really find in the area.
That's good. I love that. But the JP also stands for something else. It's not just Jasmine Poole. So tell us, what does the JP stand for?
It stands for Jesus people.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that. Now,
Thank you.
did you come up with the Jesus people kind of after you came up with the JP, or how did that all work out?
It's funny because I came up with JP originally through because whenever you're trying to find your name for a brand, it's like crazy because there's so many different names. You're on Google looking at different people's stuff, and how can you be similar but still stand out? And I seen a lot of people with their initials and stuff, and I was like, that's cool, but let's just give it a try. And if this brand doesn't, I'll just get another name, whatever. But something stood out to me about JP. um, within the first couple years, like not years, couple months, it wasn't really flourishing like that, to be honest with you. In the first couple months, it wasn't doing that well. Um, as JP, undermined me, like it represented me, Then when I changed it, and got a patent, as Jesus People, Elite Enterprise, that's when everything changed.
Mm.
That's when my numbers started skyrocketing. That's when people started like donating and stuff. And it's something amazing about that because now it's not just me. It's like, it's going to go beyond me. Like, I want this to be like, be able to pass it to somebody else someday. So,
I love that. Yeah, I just love that. But again, it shows what happens when you move forward in faith, when you put
yes,
Him first. You took the focus off of yourself, you put the
right.
focus on Him. And that's big, especially again at your age, because unfortunately, a lot of times in even for nonprofits, we're afraid to represent Jesus. We're
Yes,
afraid to move forward, because we worry about funding and what will people think and how will people react. But as I always say, when you follow the blueprint that God has given you, He's just going to move you. He's going to move
yes,
you to where it is you need to be moved to. He's going to bring the people that need to come, and He's going to
right.
elevate you and move you to the next level. And you are the perfect example of that. So not only does she have this organization that she works with youth, but you do some stuff with women in fitness also.
Yes, yes. So I'm currently in my fitness studio, um, where I train a lot of women in the community. The neighborhood I live in, currently, and grew up in, it's sort of like if you are familiar with food deserts. So food deserts are where there's not often grocery stores or nutritional, value, you know, stands or places that you can buy things to stay healthy, right? So, with that being said, we don't have any gyms that are affordable for single moms or elderly women or, you know, um, for youth. So, I took it upon myself to open up my own fitness studio right here in my neighborhood so that people, in the community can come and train with me and get healthy and in a affordable, great way, and I train people often, in the morning from like 5 a.m. to like 9 a.m. or whatever times on Saturdays, Sundays sometimes. And during the summer, we do a lot of work, and not just the summer, but in the warmer months, we do our community Saturday morning walks. So anybody who can't make it to the gym to work out with me during the week for private sessions, I do a free community walk every Saturday. So it gets everybody up, out, and moving, and that's been growing as well. So that's the health, um, component of JP Elite. And as far as the youth, I do obviously a lot of work with basketball, training and coaching and stuff like that. I'm the head coach at Pemberton Township High School. So that's my old high school, my alma mater. And I'm just so blessed to be able to be in a position where I can, inspire and mentor the girls that were really me when I was their age. And I live by the quote, be the person you needed growing up. So a lot of the things that I provide through my nonprofit is to, meet those needs and be that person that I needed, be that resource that we didn't have.
And I love it. Good information, good stuff. And you're just doing some amazing things within your
Thank you.
community. And I expect that it's going to continue to grow. So before I even transition to this book,
Uh-huh.
tell me,
Yeah, that's the
uh,
big thing.
yeah, the book it was a pretty amazing project, and the whole book release, it was just so well put together.
Thank
But
you.
before we get to that, let's kind of finish up with the athletic, the sports side of Jasmine Poole / JP Elite. Is there
Uh-huh.
anything else that you want to share in terms of what you're doing in terms of fitness, or do you do meal prepping and planning,
Yes.
any of that stuff? Okay.
Yes, I do. Part of the training that I provide, the packages are extremely affordable, but also part of those packages, you'll see like the workout side, which is really only, I would say, 20% of, your goal, and 80% is what you put in your body. So I do make sure that, meals are provided, or also like, healthy meal plans are also available too for my clients and my community, and whoever just reaches out to me. I'll help them with that, because I know it's really difficult, especially when you're on a budget or when you have a busy life, to figure out what works for your body. So I do a consultation with whoever wants to, lose weight, gain weight, you know, um, and we take a grocery store trip. So it's like a field trip, and I walk through the grocery store and educate the client on exactly what they need for their body. So that works out really well.
Great. So here's one more thing before we move on. So
Yep.
Kingdom Purpose TV is international. Like people from all over are going to be able to watch this. Do you do anything virtually?
Yes, I do. I actually do. I always go on Facebook Live for my workouts in the summertime and spring. So spring and summer, I do workouts in the morning and in the evening on live on Facebook and on Instagram Live. Yep.
Okay, great. Good to know. So now let's transition into the book.
Okay. I got it right here.
First, yes, show us the book
Yes.
and tell us, okay, in case you can't see it, please give us the title of the book.
It is We Rise by Jasmine Poole. So just type in We Rise by Jasmine Poole, and it'll pop right up on Amazon. Yep.
How and why did you decide to do this book collaboration, and how did it all come about?
So when you take a look at the cover of the book, we'll just start there. You'll see like so many different Black women in the book on the cover, and we're just rising our fists, and it's amazing because all these different Black women are from other places in the country, other places around the state, um, and they literally were hand selected by me to be a part of this book, to tell their stories, just a fragment of their stories. And inside of this book, you'll see that some of the women, they're all so unique, and that was the goal, that we as Black women rise, because oftentimes Black women get this label as the same. Everybody, every Black woman is the same. But I wanted to show the reader that all Black women are unique. So we have doctors, lawyers, judges, police officers, teachers. We have two pastors, single mothers, women who are breast cancer survivors, widows, newlyweds, women from the LGBT community. We have women that are council members, politicians. It's so many different women. That's just a few that I remembered on the top of my head. But when you open this book, whether you're a Black woman or a Latino or a white woman or any woman, you instantly feel a connection, like right away. As a woman, you just get it, and then all the other readers, they get it too, but it might take them a little bit longer to really get where we're going. But it's a powerful book, and all I can honestly say is grab a copy. It's like the perfect gift for someone. And in that book, we each chapter talks about something different. So from empowering yourself to self care to health and wellness, faith, relationships, not just relationships with like married or your significant other, but relationships with your children, relationships with your coworkers, um, in relationship with other women. You know, 'cause we tend to be a little catty sometimes. So it talks about all those different things.
Great. Yes, that's true. Unfortunately, we can be. Well,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's through collaborations like that and, hopefully platforms like this where, women will begin to see that we are so much stronger when we are on the same page and on one accord. Like there's just so much we can accomplish. We are truly unstoppable when
Yes.
we come together. And so that is one of the things I'm passionate about also is moving from all the stereotypes that unfortunately we often face and being able to come to a place where we just come and unite together to move forward and make a difference in the lives of individual women as well as collectively. So
Right.
kudos to you for
Thank you.
doing that through this book, We Rise. So before we finish, please share how people can get in contact with you.
Okay. You can reach out to us first by email at jpe.elite@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook at jpe.elite, and also follow our We Rise Instagram page. It's all caps We Rise 2021. So those are the ways that you can really reach out to us. Our website is www.jpeliteenterprise.com.
Great, thank you. Is there a message or a quote or anything that you would like to leave us with before we end?
Yes, I would like to leave you with the three things my grandmother always tells me. And the first being pray, right? Make sure that you pray. Denzel Washington once said during one of his speeches, put your slippers way under your bed at night so that when you get up in the morning, you can get down on your knees and thank God, for blessing you to wake up to see another day. And that was powerful. So just make sure that you pray every single day. Just take a second to just reflect on how good God is and what He wants you to do. You know, um, number two, my grandmother always tells me to stay consistent. Stay consistent. Consistency is like the main ingredient to what I think I do. All of these play a huge role, but it's the consistency that a lot of people my age and just people, humans in general, we definitely struggle with just staying consistent. So just be consistent at whatever you're gonna do. And last but not least, I would definitely have to just say, my grandmother is so right on this. After consistency is completion. So you can stay as consistent as you want, but if you don't ever complete what God has put on your heart and what you've been working so hard towards and praying towards, what was the point? So I just pray that, you pray, you stay consistent, and you complete whatever it is that you're called to do.
Well, thank you. Grandma has some great advice, and obviously it
Yes,
has worked because you have been
yes.
able to do some amazing things, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that that foundation that she gave you is one of the
Yes,
reasons why you've been able to be so successful. So again, I thank you for coming on. I thank you for sharing your story as
thank
well as
you.
those nuggets that your grandmother shared with you.
Yes,
And I hope people really take them to heart because those are three important keys if you want to make progress and have success in life. And so thank you again for joining us, Jasmine Poole.
thank you.
Welcome to the section of this show where we talk about Kingdom Purpose News. So I just want to remind you guys that every single night at 10 p.m., we get a full hour of music, and it is hosted by our own Vernon Matthews. Don't forget to check that out every single evening at 10 p.m. on Kingdom Radio. Also, coming up on October 24th is the Pastoral Appreciation Service of our own Charles and Kathy Matthews. That will be taking place once again October 24th at No Limits Church. This is a free event, and for more information, you can visit No Limits Church, and I'll be showing you the flyer too for more information. One other thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that we are still moving forward with our partnership program. Every week I'm going to do just a brief talk about the importance of partnering with Kptv so that we can continue to bring you this kind of shows, where you can be informed, where you can be ministered to, where you can be educated. There's such a variety of great programming on Kptv and KP radio. And so through your partnership with us, we're able to keep that kind of programming going at very, very low cost. And not only that, as a partner, you get the opportunity to get some perks as well. So check that out on the website and become a Kptv partner. I also would like to remind you that if you are doing something amazing in the kingdom, if you've just released a book, if you have new music coming, if you are hosting a conference, a workshop, all that good stuff, don't forget to shoot me an email or send me a message through Facebook so that I can get your information on the show as well. That email address is GwenTillery@KingdomPurposeTV.com. Once again, that's GwenTillery@KingdomPurposeTV.com. And as I promise you, every week I want to close out with something, just a little something to inspire you, to keep you going for the next week. And so for this week, this is what I want you to know. I want you to know that no matter what it looks like, you can trust the process. Yes, because of the God that we serve, an intentional God, a loving God, a God that knows everything, a God that knows you, a God that will make everything work together for the good of those that love him. We can trust the process. No matter how difficult it may seem, no matter how big the challenge is that we might be facing, God will never leave us, nor will he ever forsake us. And so when we're going through the process and things just look like it's just not going to happen, there's no way out of this. Remember, God is in the midst of it all. So just keep going and trust the process. He's got you. Thank you for tuning into another week of Kingdom News. Once again, if you have something to share with me, shoot me an email. And thank you once again for tuning in this week. Be blessed.